Hey you guys, this is Tina Harlow with Guiding Bright, and I am here with Dr. Michael Postma, who is the current Executive Director of SING, supporting the emotional needs of the gifted. He is a former consultant, teacher, and administrator for gifted education, and he is also the father of 4 kids, three of whom are twice exceptional, so he knows quite a bit about twice exceptionality. I know when I asked you the question, like, what one thing do you think parents could do right now that would help their gifted child to thrive in the future, you said?
Understanding neurodiversity in the process of neurodevelopment in their child.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Well, he said teaching social and emotional skills. What are some suggestions that you have for parents on how to teach social and emotional well-being to gifted kids?
I think they first have to understand the neurological developmental process. They have to understand that the kids are atypical in terms of how their development happens in the brain. One of the things that we don't really understand is the fact that their limbic system, which usually develops first in the brain because it's the fight, flight, freeze mentality that they develop quickly, can easily be overwhelmed in gifted children. Very easily, because they have a high sensory input valve that just brings in so many senses so richly and so quickly, and just it's been shown that there's more white matter in the brain for gifted kids, so they're just packing in so much sensory information. So what ends up happening is things like executive functioning skills are delayed, language processing skills are delayed, the ability to actually understand and communicate feelings and emotions when they're so deep is very difficult for them. So you can build these skills in the brain and teach them social and emotional well-being, things like developing patience, things like I said, executive functioning skills, things like listening and communicating. Because they're so bright, they get fed so much academia, but what they really need is social and emotional development.
Absolutely.
And a balance of that, and they need that foundation, but we often miss that. We teach to the head, we don't teach to the body.
So do you have a suggestion for these children that tend to get really overwhelmed? They're like super intense and that kind of thing, and get overwhelmed. What can they do?
If you're finding a child being overwhelmed, first of all, cognitive processing will plummet. So they're not going to be really listening to you. They're not going to be able to follow orders. They're not going to be able to actually, digest what you're saying and think through it and respond properly. So I always suggest to teachers, first of all, is to have a safe zone, a safe place in your classroom where when you are seeing indications of stress or anxiety or frustration that can trigger these emotions, that can trigger this event, you find them a safe zone so they can reset their limbic system and then be more rational again. You can trace what the trigger was and that kind of thing, and it's a much more productive type of interaction in a sense.
Yeah, and it sounds like they also then learn about how to better manage that process, right?
And you use it, you can use those and simulate those down the road.
You're writing a book right now. So tell us a little bit about your book.
Well, I just started
writing a book, but it sounds awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about when that might come out, and can you give us any tidbits?
I'm really fascinated with the neurodiversity process and how it impacts kids, because that's the basis from where we come from. And I want to kind of cover that lifespan of understanding what, first of all, is neurodiversity, and then how do you use neurodiversity to build social and emotional skills, both in the classroom and at home.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the book that you already do have out that people could access right now?
Well, thank you for that opportunity.
Yes, you're welcome.
I wrote a book called The Inconvenient Student, and that really was coming from the fact that I have 3 twice exceptional children still at home, and one of them's 21, one of them's almost 19, one of them's 17, and not a single one of them made it through the traditional school program. In some form or another, they were either pulled or just did a very different style of education. So this book, really, the first half is really about what is 2E, and then moves into the second half of more schools type strategies for teachers. And parents alike probably as well. So.
Great. It sounds like something that parents would probably resonate with.
It's an easy
other
read.
Parents of 2E kids, for sure.
Easy read.
And an easy read, which is always nice in our busy times. Dr. Postma will soon be offering some online courses for parents, educators, and clinicians of gifted and 2E kids under his business Gifted and Thriving. These courses will focus on neurodiversity and the gifted individual, and will really highlight the impacts on social, emotional, and academic success. If you're interested in Dr. Postma's upcoming courses, you can reach out to him via email at mpost97@gmail.com. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
And I want to thank you for joining us. It's always great to hear from you, so please reach out to me at my website, which is www.guidingbright.com, or on my Facebook page. And remember, as always, no matter what parenting challenges come your way, you've got this. We'll see you next time.